Scary sky message. It was a normal Tuesday morning. The sun was shining, birds were singing, and people all over the world were going about their day like always. Little did they know, everything was about to change. In New York, Sarah was walking to work, sipping her coffee. She looked up at the big screens in Times Square and stopped dead in her tracks. Her coffee cup fell from her hand, splashing on the sidewalk. But Sarah didn't notice. She was too busy staring at the screens with her mouth open. At the same time, in a small village in India, Raj was sitting with his family, watching their old TV. Suddenly, the cricket match they were watching disappeared. Instead, a strange face filled the screen. Raj's grandmother screamed and hid behind the couch. In Rio de Janeiro, on a crowded beach, people's phones all buzzed at once. As they looked at their screens, screams and gasps filled the air. Some people ran towards the water, as if trying to escape what they saw. What Sarah, Raj, and the beachgoers in Rio all saw was the same thing. A big, scary alien face. It had green skin, huge black eyes, and no nose. It looked nothing like the cute aliens from movies. This alien was real, and it was terrifying. The alien opened its mouth and started to speak. Its voice was deep and scratchy, like rocks being crushed. Somehow, no matter where in the world people were, they could understand the alien's words. "Humans of Earth," the alien said, "we are the Zorgans from the planet Tarkin. We have watched your planet for many years. We have decided that you are too dangerous to be allowed to live." People everywhere held their breath. Kids hugged their parents. Dogs barked at TV screens. The whole world seemed to pause. The alien continued, "Your world will be destroyed in exactly 100 Earth days. There is nothing you can do to stop us. We suggest you use this time to say goodbye to each other and your planet." Then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, the alien face vanished. Regular TV shows came back on. Phone screens returned to normal. But the world was no longer normal. In London, Big Ben struck noon, but nobody noticed. The streets were filled with people looking up at the sky, as if expecting to see alien ships. In Tokyo, businessmen in suits stood next to teenagers with bright hair, all looking at their phones in disbelief. The usually busy streets were quiet except for the sound of crying. Back in New York, Sarah finally noticed her spilled coffee. But it didn't seem important anymore. She looked around at the other people in Times Square. Some were crying. Some were shouting. Some were hugging strangers. An old man next to Sarah said, "Well, I guess that's it. Game over for Earth." He sounded sad but not surprised. But then Sarah heard another voice. It was a young boy, maybe 10 years old. He was standing on a bench, waving his arms. "We can't give up," he shouted. "We're humans. We've survived ice ages and plagues and wars. We can survive this too." People started to listen to the boy. A woman in a business suit nodded and said, "He's right. We need to fight back." A construction worker raised his fist and yelled, "Yeah. Let's show these aliens what humans can do." Slowly, the mood in Times Square began to change. Fear turned into determination. Sadness turned into anger. People started to talk to each other, making plans. Similar scenes were happening all over the world. In Raj's village, people came out of their houses and gathered in the street. Instead of panicking, they started to discuss how they could help. On the beach in Rio, a lifeguard stood on his tower and shouted, "We have 100 days. Let's use them to prepare, not to give up." As the day went on, news channels stopped showing the alien message. Instead, they showed people coming together. Scientists were already working on plans. World leaders were having emergency meetings. Regular people were volunteering to help in any way they could. The aliens had tried to scare humans into giving up, but they had made a big mistake. They didn't know that humans are at their best when things are at their worst. As night fell around the world, the stars seemed to shine brighter than usual. People looked up at them, but not with fear. They looked up with determination. The message was clear. Earth would not go down without a fight. The aliens had given Earth 100 days. They thought it was time for humans to say goodbye. But humans had a different plan. These 100 days would be the start of the biggest comeback in history. The scary sky message was just the beginning. The real story was about to start. World Team Up. The day after the scary alien message, the world was a different place. People were scared, but they were also ready to fight. In every country, big bosses called emergency meetings. In Washington, D.C., the President of the United States sat in a room with her top helpers. They all looked tired. None of them had slept much. "We need to work with other countries," the President said. "This is bigger than any one nation." Just then, a man ran into the room. He was holding a phone. "Madam President," he said, "the leaders of China and Russia are on the line. They want to talk." The President's eyes went wide. This was new. These countries didn't always get along, but now they were calling together. Meanwhile, in a secret underground room in Geneva, Switzerland, another meeting was happening. This one had scientists from all over the world. They didn't care about country borders or old fights. They only cared about saving Earth. A woman with wild gray hair stood up. She was Dr. Maria Chen, a famous brain scientist. "Friends," she said, "we have 99 days to save our world. We need to think big and work fast." A young man raised his hand. He looked nervous. "But Dr. Chen," he said, "how can we fight aliens? Their tech must be way better than ours." Dr. Chen smiled. "That's true," she said, "but we have something they don't expect. We have 7 billion humans, each with a creative mind. Together, we can do amazing things." As the scientists talked, world leaders were making a big decision. For the first time ever, all countries agreed to work as one team. They called it Operation Earth Shield. Back in New York, Sarah, remember her from part 1, was watching the news. The TV showed leaders from all over the world standing together. Even countries that used to fight were shaking hands and hugging. "Wow," Sarah said to her cat, Whiskers. "I never thought I'd see this." But it wasn't just big bosses and scientists working together. Regular people wanted to help too. In Brazil, a group of kids who loved to play with computers started a worldwide online team. They called themselves the Code Warriors. Their plan was to make a big computer system to watch for alien ships. In Kenya, farmers talked about how to grow more food, faster. They knew that if a big fight was coming, everyone would need to eat. In Japan, car makers stopped making normal cars. Instead, they started building special vehicles that might be good for fighting aliens. They didn't know what would work, but they were ready to try anything. All over the world, schools changed what they taught. Now, kids were learning about space, rockets, and how to survive tough times. It was scary, but also exciting. But not everyone thought teamwork was the answer. In London, a man named Jack thought countries should take care of themselves. He started a group called Earth First. "We can't trust other countries," Jack told a crowd. "We need to protect ourselves." Some people agreed with Jack. They were scared and wanted to hide. But most people thought differently. An old woman in the crowd spoke up. "My dear," she said to Jack, "if your house is on fire, do you fight your neighbors or ask them to help?" The crowd clapped. Jack looked surprised. He hadn't thought of it that way. As days passed, more and more people joined the worldwide team-up. It wasn't always easy. Sometimes, countries argued about the best way to prepare, but they always worked it out. Scientists shared their best ideas. Soldiers trained together. Regular people found ways to help, from saving food to learning first aid. 90 days before the aliens were supposed to attack, something amazing happened. The International Space Station sent a message to Earth. The astronauts up there, from America, Russia, and China, had made a discovery. "We'd found a way to spot the alien ships from really far away," they said. "We can give Earth an early warning when they come." People cheered all around the world. It was the first big win for the Earth team. That night, families everywhere sat together and looked at the stars. Parents told their kids, "See, when we work together, we can do anything." In her New York apartment, Sarah hugged Whiskers and smiled. "Maybe we have a chance after all," she said. The world had changed in just a few days. It wasn't perfect. There were still problems, but for the first time, the whole Earth was working as one team. The aliens had wanted to scare humans. Instead, they had brought them together. Now, the real work could begin. Earth was getting ready for the fight of its life. People power. As the days ticked by, something amazing started to happen. All around the world, regular people began to step up in ways no one expected. In a small town in Texas, 10-year-old Billy had an idea. He loved making rockets with soda bottles. "What if we made a giant soda bottle rocket?" he asked his science teacher. The teacher laughed at first, but then she thought about it. "You know, Billy, that's not a bad idea." Soon, the whole town was collecting bottles. They built a rocket as tall as a house. Scientists came to see it. They were surprised. Billy's rocket could fly higher than some of their expensive ones. Across the ocean in India, Priya, a college student, was good at yoga. She thought, "Astronauts use special exercises in space. Maybe yoga can help us prepare for alien gravity." She made videos teaching space yoga. They became a hit worldwide. In Nigeria, a group of grandmothers who loved to knit had a bright idea. "What if we knit special suits to protect against alien zaps?" They wondered. They used special thread that scientists said might work against energy weapons. Soon, grandmas everywhere were knitting zap suits. But it wasn't just new inventions. People found all sorts of ways to help. In Brazil, surfers formed wave watch teams. They patrolled the coasts, looking for any signs of alien activity in the oceans. They didn't find aliens, but they did spot and clean up a lot of ocean trash. A group of gamers from Japan, Canada, and Russia teamed up online. They used their gaming skills to create amazing battle plans. Military leaders were impressed and started working with gamer groups all over. Even kids found ways to pitch in. In Australia, a school class decided to grow a space garden. They planted foods that astronauts eat in space. "If we have to leave Earth," their teacher said, "we'll know how to grow food anywhere." Sarah, who we met in New York, started a Sky Watchers Club in her apartment building. Every night, people gathered on the roof with telescopes. They looked for anything strange in the sky and reported to scientists. But it wasn't all about preparing for battle. People also found ways to keep spirits high. In Italy, a famous opera singer had an idea. He organized a Song for Earth event. People from every country sent in recordings of themselves singing. On day 75 before the alien attack, the whole world sang together. The song was so loud, some joked that aliens could probably hear it. In Egypt, artists painted a giant mural on the side of a pyramid. It showed people from all cultures standing together, facing the stars. It became a symbol of Earth's unity. Not everything worked out, of course. In London, a man tried to build a giant slingshot to shoot at alien ships. It broke on the first test and knocked out power for his whole block. But even failures taught useful lessons. Scientists were amazed by all the ideas coming from regular people. Dr. Chen, who we met before, said in a TV interview, "Some of these ideas are pure genius. We're seeing creativity we never imagined." As the days passed, Earth changed. Cities looked different. Houses had strange antennas and shiny roofs. Schools taught new subjects like alien psychology and zero-G cooking. But the biggest change was in how people treated each other. Old enemies became friends. Rich people shared with poor people. Everyone seemed to understand that they were all in this together. One day, about halfway to the alien deadline, something big happened. A message came from Antarctica. A team of scientists and explorers there had found something buried in the ice. "It looks like A spaceship, they reported. But it's not from the aliens who warned us. This ship is much, much older. The world held its breath. What did this mean? Was this good news or bad news? Governments wanted to keep it secret, but thanks to Sarah's Sky Watchers and other groups like it, the news spread fast. People didn't panic. Instead, they got excited. If there's an old spaceship, many said, maybe it can help us. Teams from all over the world raced to Antarctica. But it wasn't just scientists and soldiers. Grandmas with their zap suits, gamers with their battle plans, kids with their space gardens. Everyone wanted to help study the mystery ship. As part 3 of our story ended, the world was buzzing with energy. Regular people had become the heroes of Earth's preparation. They had shared ideas, worked hard, and stayed hopeful. No one knew what would happen when the aliens came. But one thing was sure. The people of Earth were not going to give up. They were ready to show the universe what people power really meant. Secret weapons surprise. The world was buzzing with excitement about the old spaceship found in Antarctica. But in a small town in Brazil, something even more amazing was about to happen. Maria was a 16-year-old computer whiz. Her best friends were Raj, who we met in India in part 1, and Zoe from Australia. They had met online in a Save Earth chat room. Now they video chatted every day, trying to crack alien codes. One day, Maria was hiking in the hills near her town. She wasn't supposed to be there. It's not safe, her mom always said. But Maria loved exploring. As she climbed over some rocks, she slipped. Ouch! She yelled as she fell into a hidden cave. When she stood up, she couldn't believe her eyes. The cave walls were covered in strange, glowing symbols. In the center stood a pedestal with a small, shiny object on it. Maria's heart raced. This can't be alien stuff, right? She whispered to herself. She took out her phone and snapped pictures of everything. Then, carefully, she picked up the object. It was warm and hummed softly in her hand. As soon as she got home, Maria called Raj and Zoe. "Guys, you won't believe what I found," she said, showing them the pictures. Zoe gasped. "Those symbols, they look like the ones on the Antarctica spaceship." Raj leaned closer to his screen. "Maria, this is big. We need to tell someone." But Maria hesitated. "Wait," she said. "What if we could figure it out ourselves? We might be Earth's only chance." Her friends agreed to keep it secret, for now. They started working day and night to understand the symbols and the strange object. Days passed. The 3 friends skipped meals and sleep. Their parents worried, but the teens said they were working on a school project. Meanwhile, the world kept preparing for the alien attack. Sarah's Sky Watchers in New York spotted something strange in the sky, but it turned out to be a new satellite launched by the Operation Earth Shield team. In Antarctica, scientists were still trying to open the old spaceship. "It's like trying to open a million-year-old can with a spoon," one frustrated scientist said on TV. But in their secret online lab, Maria, Raj, and Zoe were making progress. They found out the object was some kind of key. The symbols were instructions, I think. Zoe said one night, her eyes wide with excitement, "This is how we build a shield that can protect the whole Earth." Just then, Maria's mom knocked on her door. "Honey, it's 3 a.m. You need to sleep." Maria looked at her friends on the screen. "We can't stop now," she whispered. "We're so close." The next day, as the team kept working, big news broke. The scientists in Antarctica had finally opened a small door on the old spaceship. Inside, they found a message. It said, "Beware the Zorgans, find the shield key." The world went crazy. Everyone was talking about the shield key. But no one knew what it looked like or where to find it. Maria, Raj, and Zoe looked at each other through their screens. They realized they had the real shield key. "We have to tell someone now," Raj said. The others agreed. They decided to contact Dr. Chen, the famous scientist they had seen on TV. They sent her an encrypted message with some of their findings. Hours passed. No response. The teens were worried. Did Dr. Chen think it was a joke? Suddenly, Maria's computer pinged. It was a video call from Dr. Chen herself. "Hello, young ones," Dr. Chen said, her face serious. "If what you've sent me is real, you may have just saved humanity. But we need to move fast. The Zorgans will be here in 15 days. The next few days were a blur. Maria, Raj, and Zoe were flown to a secret lab. Scientists from all over the world came to work with them. They brought the shield key and all their notes. Everyone worked nonstop. They built machines, wrote complex codes, and did countless tests. It was hard work, and sometimes it felt hopeless. "What if it doesn't work?" Maria asked one night, tears in her eyes. Dr. Chen put a hand on her shoulder. "Then we'll try something else," she said kindly. "But I believe in you kids. You've done the impossible already." On day 5 before the alien attack, they were ready to test the shield. The whole world watched on TV as Dr. Chen explained what was about to happen. "Thanks to 3 brave and brilliant young people," she said, "we may have a chance to save our planet." Maria, Raj, and Zoe stood nervously by a big red button. This was it. The moment of truth. 3, 2, 1. The world counted together. Maria pressed the button. For a second, nothing happened. People held their breath. Then suddenly, the sky lit up with a beautiful, shimmering light. It covered the whole earth like a giant bubble. Cheers erupted everywhere. People hugged in the streets. It looked like Earth might have a fighting chance after all. But the real test was yet to come. With the shield hold against the Zorgans, the world had to wait and see. The final countdown had begun. Alien fight time. The day had finally come. It was alien fight time. All around the world, people waited nervously. In New York, Sarah and her Sky Watchers Club were on the roof, eyes glued to the sky. In India, Raj's family huddled around their old TV. In Brazil, Maria and her parents joined their neighbors in the town square. Everyone was watching and waiting. Suddenly, the sky lit up. But it wasn't the shield this time. Huge alien ships appeared, raking through the clouds. They were bigger than anyone had imagined, each one as large as a city. "They're here," whispered Sarah, her hands shaking as she held her telescope. The Zorgan ships spread out, covering every major city on Earth. Their dark shapes blocked out the sun, casting giant shadows over the scared people below. Then, a voice boomed from the ships. It was the same scary voice from 100 days ago. "Humans," it said, "your time is up. Prepare for your end." With that, the ships started to attack. They fired huge beams of energy at Earth. The beams were so bright, they hurt to look at. People screamed and ran for cover. But something amazing happened. As the beams hit Earth's atmosphere, they met the shield. There was a blinding flash and a sound like 1,000,000 thunderclaps. When people looked up again, they couldn't believe their eyes. The shield was holding. The alien beams bounced off, shooting back into space. In the secret lab, Maria, Zoe, and Dr. Chen watched the readings on their computers. "It's working," Zoe shouted, jumping up and down. "The shield is actually working." But their celebration was short-lived. One of the scientists pointed at a screen. "Look," he said, his voice shaking. "The shield's power is dropping fast. It won't last long against these attacks." Dr. Chen turned to Maria. "We need more power," she said. "Any ideas?" Maria thought hard. Then her eyes lit up. "The shield key," she said. "We never fully activated it. Maybe it can boost the shield's power." They rushed to where the shield key was kept. It was glowing brighter than ever, almost as if it knew it was needed. "But how do we activate it fully?" asked Dr. Chen. Maria remembered something from the cave symbols. "We need to sing to it," she said. "The vibrations will power it up." It sounded crazy, but they were out of options. Maria took a deep breath and started to sing. It was the song for Earth that the whole world had sung together weeks ago. At first, nothing happened, but then Zoe joined in. Then Dr. Chen. Soon, everyone in the lab was singing. The shield key began to pulse with light, getting brighter and brighter. All over the world, people heard the song coming from their radios, TVs, and phones. Somehow, the shield key was broadcasting it everywhere. And everywhere, people began to sing along. Sarah and her sky watchers sang from their roof. Raj and his family sang in their living room. In Brazil, Maria's parents recognized their daughter's voice and sang with tears in their eyes. As millions of voices joined together, something incredible happened. The shield key shot a beam of light straight up into the sky. When it hit the shield, the whole thing lit up like a giant rainbow. The alien ships fired again, but this time, their beams bounced back even stronger. Some of the smaller ships were hit by their own attacks and exploded in the sky. The Zorgan commander couldn't believe what was happening. "Impossible," he shouted. "How can these primitive humans have such power?" For hours, the battle raged on. The Zorgans tried everything they could think of, but nothing could break through the singing-powered shield. Finally, as the sun began to set, the alien ships stopped attacking. They hovered silently for a few minutes, as if trying to decide what to do. Then, slowly at first, but then faster, they started to move away. The huge mothership turned around, and all the others followed. As the ships disappeared into space, the world held its breath. Was it really over? Had Earth actually won? In the lab, Maria and Zoe hugged each other, crying happy tears. Dr. Chen smiled proudly at them. "You did it," she said. "You saved us all." Suddenly, all the screens in the lab lit up. It was a message from the Antarctica team. They had finally translated more of the old spaceship's messages. The Zorgans, the message read, are cosmic bullies. They attack planets to steal resources, but they always run away when a planet shows it can defend itself. They're actually cowards. A cheer went up in the lab. Earth hadn't just survived. It had scared off the galaxy's biggest bullies. As night fell, people came out of their homes and looked up at the sky. The shield was still there, shimmering like a protective blanket of stars. For the first time in 100 days, everyone on Earth slept peacefully. They had faced the greatest threat in human history, and they had won. Together. But this wasn't the end. It was just the beginning of humanity's greatest adventure. The stars were waiting, and Earth was ready to explore them. Humans win big. The morning after the big alien fight, Earth woke up to a new world. The sky was clear, the alien ships were gone, and people everywhere were celebrating. But the biggest surprises were yet to come. In New York, Sarah and her sky watchers were having a party on their roof. Suddenly, Sarah's phone buzzed. It was a message from Dr. Chen. "Turn on the TV now," it said. Sarah quickly switched on the small TV they had brought up to the roof. The President of the United States was on every channel. She looked tired but happy. "My fellow Earthlings," she said, "I have amazing news. The Zorgans left us a message before they ran away." Everyone on the roof leaned in closer to hear. "The message says," the President continued, "we, the Zorgans, admit defeat. You humans are tougher than we thought. We promise never to attack your planet again. In fact, we want to trade with you instead. Your music power is incredible. We'll give you advanced tech if you teach us to sing." Sarah and her friends looked at each other in shock. Then they burst out laughing. The aliens who tried to destroy them now wanted singing lessons. Meanwhile, in the secret lab, Maria, Zoe, and Dr. Chen were studying the shield key. Suddenly, it started to glow and float in the air. "What's happening?" Zoe asked, her eyes wide. Before anyone could answer, a hologram appeared above the key. It showed an alien, but not a scary Zorgan. This alien looked friendly, almost cute. "Greetings, humans," the alien said. "I am Blorp from the Galactic Council. We've been watching your fight with the Zorgans. We're impressed. You're officially invited to join the Galactic Council. Oh, and thanks for fixing our old shield key. We lost it on Earth millions of years ago. Oops. Maria and Zoe high-fived each other. We're going galactic, they shouted. In India, Raj and his family were watching all this on TV. Raj's grandmother, who had been scared of aliens before, now said, "I want to meet this blorb. He seems nice. I'll knit him a zap suit." All over the world, more good news kept coming in. The Antarctica team reported that the old spaceship was now fully open. Inside, they found a library of alien knowledge. We've learned more in one day than in the last 100 years, one excited scientist said on TV. In Brazil, Maria's town became famous overnight. Tourists from all over the world came to see the cave where Maria found the shield key. The mayor announced plans to build a space academy there. But the biggest surprise came from everyday objects. TVs, phones, even toasters started to work better. It turned out that the shield's energy had upgraded Earth's technology. My old car now runs on water. A man in Canada reported. Our fridge is making food out of thin air, a family in Egypt claimed. Scientists confirmed that Earth had jumped 500 years ahead in technology overnight. World leaders met to discuss what to do next. They decided to keep the Operation Earth Shield team going, but with a new name, Operation Galactic Friendship. They also agreed to share all the new tech and knowledge equally around the world. No more rich countries and poor countries, they announced. We're all Earthlings now. A month after the alien attack, Earth held its first global party. The same song that powered the shield key became Earth's new anthem. People danced in the streets, tried out new alien-inspired foods, and looked up at the stars with excitement instead of fear. At the party, our heroes were celebrated. Sarah and her Skywatchers got medals for their bravery. Raj's grandmother's Zap suits became the hottest fashion trend. And Maria, Zoe, and Dr. Chen were asked to lead Earth's first official meeting with the Galactic Council. As the party went on, Maria found a quiet spot and looked up at the sky. She thought about how much had changed. Just a few months ago, she was a normal girl in a small town. Now she was helping Earth join a galactic civilization. Zoe found her and sat down next to her. "What are you thinking?" she asked. Maria smiled. "I'm thinking. We did it. We really did it. Humans win big." Zoe nodded. "Yeah, but you know what the best part is? This is just the beginning." As if to agree, a shooting star streaked across the sky. But it wasn't a star. It was Earth's first faster-than-light spaceship, taking off for its maiden voyage. The ship's name: Hest Hope, Human Starship Hope. As it disappeared into the twinkling stars, everyone on Earth felt the same thing: excitement for the big adventures to come. Humans had won big, but their journey was just beginning. Earth's new adventure. 1 year had passed since the day Earth defeated the Zorgans. The world had changed so much, it was hard to believe it was the same planet. In New York, Sarah walked down a street that looked both familiar and strange. Flying cars zoomed overhead. Holographic signs floated in the air, but the hot dog stand on the corner was still there, run by the same friendly old man. "The usual, Sarah?" the vendor asked, handing her a hot dog that was somehow both normal and made from space vegetables. Sarah nodded, taking a bite. "Thanks, Joe. Heading to the Sky Watchers meeting. We're planning our first trip to the moon." Meanwhile, in India, Raj was packing his bags. His grandmother watched, tears in her eyes. "I can't believe my grandson is going to an alien planet," she said, handing him a Zap suit she had knitted. "Take this. It might be cold in space." Raj hugged her. "Thanks, Nani. I'll be back before you know it, and I'll bring you a souvenir from the Galactic Council headquarters." In Brazil, Maria's small town had become a bustling spaceport. The cave where she found the shield key was now a museum. But Maria wasn't there to see it. She, along with Zoe and Dr. Chen, were on their way to Mars. As their ship approached the red planet, Zoe looked out the window in awe. "I can't believe we're about to step on Mars," she said. "And look at those buildings. Earth's first Mars colony is almost ready." Dr. Chen smiled. "And it's all thanks to you girls. Your discovery changed everything." But it wasn't just Earth that had changed. The whole solar system was different now. Jupiter's moon Europa had become a popular vacation spot. Its underground oceans were perfect for extreme space surfing. Saturn's rings now had a space station where scientists studied cosmic rays. Even distant Pluto had a small research base, much to the delight of those who still considered it a planet. Back on Earth, in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, a massive structure rose from the waves. It was the Earth Space Elevator, a giant tower reaching all the way into orbit. It made space travel as easy as taking a long elevator ride. At the base of the elevator, a group of tourists from all over the world waited excitedly. An announcer's voice boomed. "Welcome to your trip to the Galactic Council Space Station. Please have your passports and vaccination records ready. Yes, even for alien planets, vaccinations are important." Among the tourists was Billy, the boy who had made the giant soda bottle rocket a year ago. He was now a junior space engineer, barely able to contain his excitement about seeing real alien technology up close. As amazing as all this progress was, it wasn't always easy. Humans had to learn a lot, very quickly. There was the time when a diplomat accidentally insulted an alien race by sneezing. Apparently, on their planet, a sneeze was a rude word. It took 3 days of singing Earth's anthem to smooth things over. Or the incident with Earth's first faster-than-light test flight. The ship worked perfectly, but they forgot to pack a lunch. The poor test pilots had to eat nothing but alien energy cubes for a week. But humans were learning, adapting, and most importantly, exploring. One day, as Maria, Zoe, and Dr. Chen were heading back to Earth from Mars, they received an urgent message. It was from Blorp, their friend from the Galactic Council. "Humans," Blorp's hologram said, looking worried, "we need your help. A dangerous space anomaly is heading towards a populated sector. None of our tech can stop it. But we think your music power might work. Can you help?" The three looked at each other and nodded. Dr. Chen sent a quick reply. "We're on our way, Blorp. Earth is ready to help." As they changed course, heading towards the unknown, Maria thought about how much had changed. A year ago, Earth was just trying to survive. Now, they were off to save part of the galaxy. Zoe seemed to read her mind. "Pretty crazy, huh? We went from Earth's last hope to galaxy's new heroes." Dr. Chen laughed. "Well, girls, that's the thing about adventures. You never know where they'll take you." As their ship accelerated to faster-than-light speed, the stars outside became streaks of light. Earth grew smaller behind them, but it didn't feel like they were leaving home. In a way, the whole galaxy was becoming their home now. The ship's computer announced, "Now entering uncharted space." Maria took a deep breath. "Well," she said, "I guess this is Earth's new adventure." Zoe grinned. "No, it's Earth's next adventure. Something tells me we're going to have a lot more." As their ship disappeared into the cosmic unknown, back on Earth, a child looked up at the night sky. She saw a bright light moving fast among the stars. "Look, Mom," she said, "is that a shooting star?" Her mother smiled. "No, honey. That's humanity, exploring the cosmos, and someday you might be up there too." The child's eyes widened with wonder. Earth's greatest adventure wasn't just out there in space. It was in the dreams and potential of every person, young and old, ready to explore, discover, and imagine. The end, or rather, the beginning.